I like this one is cool. It's interesting for so many reasons. This listing is a 4-bedroom, 5-bath apartment. It's $6,495,000, and it's listed at 3,753 square feet.
I guess third and Lex.
Third and Lex is what I looked. I just looked it up on Google Maps.
Third.
It's definitely, there should definitely be a discount for being this far east. It's also in one of these, at least based on the photos, sort of period 1950s type buildings with a white brick. The Townsend House.
Yes.
It's a 20-story building. So this is from Street Easy. The Townsend House at 176 East 71st is a 20-story building built as a co-op in 1962. So it's 60s vintage.
60s.
95 units. It only says 2F. It's on a pretty low floor. It's a decently large layout, although in a pretty nondescript building. And it's got, it does have this cool exterior terrace, but it's not very high up. It's probably just overlooking a pretty busy street. But I guess all of your neighbors can see right into your terrace as well.
Exactly. That's
it's a little hard to tell what the privacy level is, but you could be enjoying a nice, relaxing afternoon or sunbathing with basically the entire 19 floors above you staring directly at you.
Exactly.
This would be great for entertaining for sure. It looks like a very nice and very expensive renovation job, especially with all that millwork. I'm sure the millwork cost a fortune.
Right. And what comes with this apartment, but
yeah, it's hard to tell if these things on the side are built-ins or not. At the very end, it looks like by the sliding sort of
shoji
rice paperish doors, it looks like there's a built-in. I don't know if the sofa is on the other.
Yeah, reminds me of like Hotel Okura in Tokyo.
Sort of overbuilt for the inherent value of the property. It's unique, and it's especially unique in a 1960s nondescript white brick co-op. There's something very Mad Men to it. Of course, it's a totally different. It's a different aesthetic, but the idea of having something very like cool and spare and modern within one of these.
Yeah. What's the floor?
It's hard to tell. I can't tell if it has texture or if it's a limestone or a marble or.
Is it too corporate for you?
I don't think so. I tend to like things like that. I think it's a question of whether in person it's shiny or it's a little bit more on the matte side. Interesting. There are all these built-ins on this side. It's a bit of a weird dining room, actually. It's a weird space. I guess it's sort of a nice place to relax and read a book and kind of look out onto your terrace. I guess there's something pleasant about it. There's so much square footage in the apartment that maybe that's kind of nice. It's not necessarily super usable space.
It's pretty contemporary for Upper East Side, right? It's not a lot of places have that openness, Upper East Side. So it's it's going to be pretty rare.
This kitchen seems really incongruous to me with the rest of the house. They've got like this beautiful millwork everywhere else with this sort of natural wood. And they seem to be hiding all the hardware, like not visible hardware. And then this is the most generic kitchen. I don't love the kitchen. Yeah. Given how streamlined and sort of zen and well thought out everything is, I feel like this kitchen needs to be, while still functional, a very one of these very streamlined kitchens that where things are useful but hidden. Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, this is nicely done again.
Yeah.
They seem to have really tasteful built-ins and really tasteful millwork.
Do you like that room?
I do like the room. I think it's very calming and very, very soothing. Everything seems like it's
very big. It's a large room. Lots of light. Every room has windows. Although it's facing courtyard, so I don't know how much light actually you get.
Yeah.
Everything is like all well thought out, for whoever, commissioned this work, the entire house.
Yeah. I like it. I would say it's all very, it could be a little specific. I don't know. I don't know that your typical, again, buyer who's going to buy in a 60s era co-op, in the 70s between 3rd and Lex is necessarily going to be looking for. It's looks like a perfectly nicely done, decent sized walk-in closet type room.
How did they transition to this, right?
Yep. Well, we went to Home Depot and we picked out some Caesar stone and some. It feels like it needs more like a, I don't know, like a travertine or just something, or like a kind of more textured stone that kind of goes with the more spare influences.
Do you think they're staged? I'm not sure.
I think it may be somewhat staged. It is well done. No, it's nice. Again, it just kind of highlights the juxtaposition between a room like this and the bathroom. It's got to be a little bit jarring if you go from one room to the next. Yeah. So this room is nicely done. It looks like a nice kid's room. It's hard to tell what the bed size is. It may just be the camera angle. I would assume they're just normally they're twins or twin extra long or something like that.
It's so funny. Every room has this kind of like a sunroom outside before you go outside to the terrace.
I think everything. So it looks to me now that we're flipping through this that essentially all these rooms are along that room that leads out to the help doesn't get good design.
No.
It's whatever.
Again, renovated.
Even worse. This I don't even know.
Yeah, I know. I don't even know.
So strange. The twin bedroom, it's interesting. I mean, you get some light, and I guess it's got another window on the other side of the street. Mm-hmm. If you're using the sunroom as an entertaining area, you basically have your kids. But this is 2A/2F, so it looks.
Oh yeah, so it's combined.
I wonder what the common charges are for this then.
HOA fees. I think that's probably what they meant by co-op maintenance.
So I think this is one of these pluses and minuses sort of thing. It's got good light, especially for the upper east, but that's probably because it's one of these post-war buildings.
Yep.
It's got certain aspects of it have really, really nice interior renovations. Mm-hmm. The layout is pretty sensible. It's got a really nice terrace. Mm-hmm. On the con side, the address is convenient but not particularly desirable. It's a little too far east. It's in a pretty generic post-war building. Mm-hmm. It's a co-op as opposed to a condo. Mm-hmm. And while some of the renovation is pretty nicely done, some of it is really, really generic, but looks like it was probably expensive enough that you would need to compensate for it, but not the kind of thing that's in keeping with the rest of the aesthetic. So it's a little bit weird.
Aesthetics. How do you rate this apartment?
So this is a hard one because it's mixed. It's sort of schizophrenic. I mean, I kind of give it a 9 for the parts of the apartment that I like. Yeah. And for the other parts, they're nicely done, but sort of generic. So maybe they're like a 6 or a 7 or something like that. I don't know, but with the combination of the two, I don't even really know.
So 8. Should we say 8?
Maybe it's like a blended. I guess. Are we doing whole numbers here? I guess it's easier to do whole numbers. I would give it an 8, maybe even a 7. It's a shame because I hate to mark down the parts that are so nicely done. Or something,
Yeah. So uniqueness. How do you rate uniqueness?
I mean, I think about the uniqueness based on the design and based on the layout of the space. So I guess the question is this thing difficult? Is this difficult to replicate? The building itself is generic, so you could always
find something like that.
Always find an interior that you like.
Right.
And it's somewhat hard to find exterior terrace space. That's sort of inherently a little bit more difficult to replicate. Yeah. There's actually nothing that's so inherently difficult to replicate about the admitted job that they did on the interior. It's specific, and it requires a designer, and it requires time and money. But it can be done within what is otherwise a pretty generic apartment. Mm-hmm. But again, I guess that's why the uniqueness is sort of a weird thing, because the interiors are kind of unique. The building itself is really generic. So I'm going to give it an 8.
Okay. What about value?
I think it's too expensive for what it is. what is this? It's close to 2,000 a square foot or something like that. There seems to me to be a big upcharge here because of the very, very nicely done interiors, which are expensive. But it's a lot to be asking for an apartment that's a co-op in a pretty generic shell of the building, which has high maintenance and is in an otherwise okay, but not necessarily super fantastic area.
Right. What about usability?
It seems to me that the flow has been very well designed. It's got, from what I can see, good common and entertaining spaces. It looks like it's really 3.5 bedrooms. One of them looks like it may be interior. But nicely done, well laid out. So I think for me, then it's all on one floor. I give it a 9.
Is there a possibility to make it even better? Or you would just use as is?
It depends to some extent on who's using it. It's, if I'm right about the fact that one of the bedrooms is interior, it's a little, it would be nice to actually have a true four bedroom there, given the price point of this apartment. I think it partially hinges on this. This looks like an apartment for people who may not have, they may not have kids, or they may have grown kids. They may be older themselves. They like to do entertaining, and they don't necessarily need the bedroom space. And for that, I think it's really nice. This is it seems like it's a really nicely done, entertaining apartment.
Recession proofness.
It's a central enough location, I guess. This is a hard one because it's a decent location, but it's a pretty pricey interior redo. I don't know how to assess that one. A lot of the value of the apartment is in the interior renovation, which is nice. Of course, these things, I don't know exactly when it was done, but it looks like it was done very recently. As these things sort of deteriorate over time, I think it will inherently become a little bit less valuable, just because that's so much of the value. And the rest of the value is in its location, which is all right, and then the outdoor space. So I wonder about it. I think it may be a little bit specific as well.
Right. Okay, so we'll give maybe 5. Accessibility and safety. It's all one floor, so that's pretty accessible, right? So that's pretty good. For babies, is that good, or?
I don't know. A lot of people. While I like the outdoor space, a lot of people wouldn't want a terrace with young children. So how safe that is.
Okay, so that might be like
a co-op. It's in a good area. It's presumably got a doorman. It's got I don't know what kind of amenities the building has. Clear, but probably pretty accessible and safe.
We'll give maybe 8. Is that is a reason? Okay.
Seems right. My price is below 6. So this is, sorry, how many square feet is this again? It's 3,700 or so? 575.
575.
This is a co-op in a nondescript building. I feel like 1,500 a square foot is actually generous for this space. It's all in the build out. So the build out is expensive, but 1,500 times 37, let's just say 3753, gets you to 5,600 and change. I'm rounding up a bit, 575, which probably doesn't give them credit as much credit for the build out at all. But but I think 1,500 a square foot is really, really generous for this space.
Right.
So that's why I'm at 575.